Hey, what's up, guys? So the Banlist is just dropped, and as a lot of you know, it's a pretty crazy list. Um, so I did make this video last night because I wanted to compose myself and compose my thoughts on it, so I could give you guys probably a more in-depth analysis of it, and a list of the decks I think are best after taking some time to think about it. So yeah, let's just get on into it. So obviously the first big ban is Protoss. I hate this card. I'm so glad it's banned. Uh, So I think it's a really good ban. I do think it weakens the Sword deck a lot because of them not banning Scythe basically. So it's PK is kind of probably the best deck I think. Just spoiler alert for that. But this card was a gatekeeper for a lot of decks I think, so that's good. Being able to call Dark specifically, and then your opponent not be able to summon Darks for basically ever, right? Because you're just gonna keep protosing them. I think that was super unfair. So I'm really glad that one's gone because it makes it decks like Dragon and stuff and heroes and stuff like that playable. Whereas before they were kind of gate kept by this card, like I said. Eva, it's a good ban. So I didn't play much. I was taking an extended break when full power Drytron was a thing. But then put this to one, and it didn't solve the problem. So banning this I think is good. Drytron's a really cool deck. It's a really powerful deck, but I think Eva just gives it a little bit too much power. So I think this is a good ban. Order, obviously it goes without saying it's a good ban, right? Slight problem with Order being banned though is they didn't ban Mystic Mine or check it in anyway, so now we're gonna have to play a lot more spell and trap removal in the main, I think, especially because Skill Drain went to free. So it's either gonna be Cosmic or Twin or something that or Duster, right? That we're basically all gonna have to main as an answer instead of maining Order now. We're gonna have to main one of those other cards for Mystic Mine, right? And then they banned Simorg. Which is fine. Birds needed a check, and I guess this is one of the two ways they decided to check it. This card's pretty broken. I feel it gate kept Sky Striker a lot as well. Just because it's when I was playing Birds, I was if I sit down against Striker, unless they Mystic Mine me, I'm 100% winning because they can't break the board otherwise because I'll just sit on some Org with it pointing to the Wing Beast, and then it's just basically impossible to clear. So I think that's a good hit. It's fine. Center 1, this is where it gets kind of actually really exciting. Destrudo, I love this card. A lot of you who know me in real life or knew me before I guess 2020, 2019 period. I played this card on a load of decks. This was in a lot of my Spiralists and stuff like that from back in the day. Just pretty much just because it went to Black Rose and Ancient Fairy Dragon. But this card's obviously really really cool. It goes so if you don't know what it does because this card's been banned for a couple of years now. If it's in your grave, you can pay half your life. And target a level 6 or lower monster you control, special summon it, and then reduce this card by the level of that card. And then when it leaves the field, it just goes onto the bottom of the deck. So basically, what that means is, say you have your Fairy Tale Snow on field, right? Recently unbanned also. You can use Destroyer's Effect in hand or grave, target Snow, and summon Destruder out, and then make itself a level 3, so you can instantly go to a Black Rose or a Yazi or something, which is really really cool. And also now we can go to Needle Fiber and various other Link 2s that aren't just nightmares or something from when this card was legal. So yeah, I think it's a really cool ban. Sorry. It's a little buff for dragons and stuff like that because it gives you another cool card to send off Ravine or Shrine or any of those sort of versions. It's cool for synchro source style decks anyway. It's a nice buff for something if it wants to play Foolish Barrel as well. But yeah, so on to the next one. It's Fairy Tale Snow, and this is huge, right? JY is I haven't spoken to him about this yet. I haven't spoken to anybody about the balance, but I imagine JY is super excited about this. We're one step closer to 60 card decks basically. This is obviously a huge thing. Again, if you didn't know what this card does, this card's really crazy. If it's normal or special summoned, you can basically Book of Moon an opponent's monster. But this is where it gets really good. If it's in your grave, this is a quick effect. You can banish 7 other cards from your hand, field, and or graveyard and special summon this card. So basically, you could mill the, it used to be you'd mill this off grass or Dante or something. And then your opponent would have to deal with whatever you put on your actual board, plus a Fairy Tale Snow or 2 to Book of Moon stuff by banishing your graveyard away and stuff like that. Really really cool card. it's like one of the best things to dump at the end of combos off like Foolish Barrel and stuff like that. Say you didn't use your Foolish Barrel at like the start of your combo or whatever. Sending Pharaoh to Snow is generally like the sword nail in the coffin for a lot of decks because the Book of Moon effect's pretty brutal. Because it keeps coming back as well, right? So like, obviously this is like really good link fodder as well. It's a really interesting card. I'm really glad it's back. I really enjoy the card in a lot of decks. So like these two cards will probably be like in a lot of decks I end up playing in like the February format. So yeah, it's pretty cool, I think. Astrograph is like also unbanned now. Unfortunately, Electrolyte is still banned, so like this is not necessarily something I think that's going to be like super impactful. I don't know anything about like new Pendulum cards coming out. I don't know if there's like some big thing that makes it a lot better. But like, yeah, it's cool. If you enjoy Pendulum, it's nice, right? Targeted one, oh, this is crazy. So like, this card is like inherently broken. If you don't know what it does, it's basically a Monster Reborn for Lunalight monsters while it's in the scale, but the effects in the game, but that never matters because we're just using like Kaleido Chick for cost, right? And then its monster effect is if it's destroyed and destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target a Lunalight monster in your graveyard and special summon it. The scale effect isn't once per turn. So that got like, we played it for YCS Chicago, the one Wrath one with it. And it was basically like super abusable with Yellow Martin, which I'll just like quickly pull up here actually because I didn't think about pulling that one up. So Yellow Martin is basically Zephyros but for Lunalight cards. And obviously then the Zephyros which you abuse it with as well. So it's basically you can end up using this like like 2 or 3 times in a turn. Which is just like a lot of free summons, right? So like this is a really crazy card. I'm really excited to see what this does in the format. If it does anything, it might just be like past like it being useful, but I think it's probably got a lot of potential with like because all the Lunalight cards are actually like really good, like all the ones you'd play anyway. Oh yes, that was the weird thing because Perfume was like space Lunalight, but yeah, like Perfume's crazy. It's just Monster Reborn and a search, but it's not once per turn. Then it was like Yellow Martin, like I said, Kaleido Chick basically just dumps Yellow Martin for cost, which is really cool. Serenade Dance is like a trap card Monster Reborn. Yeah, that's about it for like the Lunalights you like generally play, but it's just like a really good rank 4 / like I suppose like a link box engine now, right? And obviously they're all Beast warriors as well, so like with the Tri Brigade cards, this might be the new way to play Tri, because obviously, Samorg is banned now. Normal Summon Cat isn't necessarily like my favorite thing to do ever, so like maybe this is the way to go. Oh yeah, and then Recital went to 1, another hit for birds. Like you probably get around this if you really wanted to with the like Tri-Bird deck, but I don't know. I feel like you need at least 2 of this a lot of the time to do what you want to do. I know the list that got second to the most recent YCS was playing 1, but he was going for more of a heavy revolt package. So more of like a Tri-Brigade deck. But like, I think the deck is like, the Lyrilless cards in general are still pretty good. It's just a shame this went to 1. Kind of like died for the sins of the others sort of thing. But yeah, it was either like they either hit the like birds or the fractals, like the Tri-Brigades, right? So it's like, I think in terms of deck building and like fun, I guess, it's better that the Tri-Brigades exist still because they like go into more decks, like they go into this Lunalight deck and stuff, right? So like, I guess that's cool. Then Monster Gate went from 3 to 1. This confused me no end, so if you actually know why this went to 1, please do tell me, because I actually just can't work it out. I don't know if there's something new coming out, but I just don't know. So if you can comment below and say why this went to 1, I would be so grateful, because I just have no idea. I just don't understand why this went to 1. And then RIP Politicized. This is pretty brutal. I really like this card on everything, so for this to go from 3 to 1 is like pretty grim. It's a weird one, because like, why? I guess because people playing 3 of it and everything can have you want to like change up the like deck building or whatever. And it is part great to be fair, but because this like went to 1, we're gonna probably have to see a lot more Prosperity and Upstart Goblin in the format. Prosperity is already like super expensive, so that's pretty grim. And also this doesn't really work in like every deck, I don't think. But we'll see a lot more of this card. I think we'll see a lot more Upstart Goblin, which is pretty cool actually. because like we'll see this. Like I know Tommy Rowe and stuff has been like playing this in like Sword Soul because he's trying to bring that back, which is cool. And now I think it's just back because Desire's that one. So like, if we're trying to buff our consistency in our decks, we're gonna add like upstart to like everything basically. But yeah, Prosperity is probably gonna be like the new like pot card that everyone just plays. Which is fine. It's not like I prefer Desires, but what can you do? And then to two, this is like kind of whatever for the most part. A hero lives. This is cool if you like heroes. But also like one hand giveth, one hand taketh away. Fusion Destiny 1 to 2 from free, which is obviously like a hit to heroes, but this is just like fine. I think you probably want more hero lives than you'd want Fusion Destinies. Pretty sure. Can say. Not a hero player by any means. Fusion Destiny 2, this is kind of irrelevant, I think. They're not hard drawing it as much now, but they're still sending off Predaplant because that just didn't get banned. So, like, whatever, I guess. Like, it's fine. Nadir 7 to 2. I mean, sure. Like, Invoked is still, like, obviously going to be very, very good because, like, those 2 to 2, like, Fusion Destiny and Nadir to 2, isn't, like, affecting the Invoke deck that much. Like, mine's still legal. And if anything, they kind of got buffed because, like, if I've played Invoke like a fair bit, and like Fusion Destiny and Nadir to 2, I would like 100% take that trade because Imperial Lord is now banned, and like you're losing to Order every time they flip it, but you're not necessarily winning all your games off these two cards. So it's like, okay, sure, I guess I take that trade if I'm an Invoke player. Yeah, and then like Circle to 2, Gazelle's just still at 1. I love Salamangreat, but like honestly, I think this is just copium. If you think this is going to make the deck a lot better, I just don't think it will. It's an extra copy of Gazelle, but we lost 2 copies of Desires. Like you could play Pros, but like, I don't know. I think Salamangreat's kind of just past its prime at this point. Yeah, so that's kind of a rip, but it's fine. A Scapegoat to do is like kind of crazy though. This card, when like Lynx first came out, if you didn't know, was like really, really broken because it basically was like just 4 monsters, right? And the format was like a lot slower. But like because this is now at 2, I wonder. Like, I'm very curious to see where this will be incorporated into people's decks because it's a really interesting card. With like laddering into like better links and stuff. You know, like Scapegoat is 1 card access code talker and like all sorts of stuff, right? So like it's interesting to see where this will go. I'm not necessarily sure if it will have the most impact, but it's pretty cool. It depends if the format like slows down at some point. It probably won't be this format, but it'll probably be next format or something maybe. And then to free, we got a lot of pretty crazy stuff to talk about. Nessie went to free. This card has been like slowly creeping up. Last format I think it went to 2, now it's to 3. It's cool. I like Dangerous. I think they're really cool cards. I think they're inherently a bit unfair and like bad card design because they basically are just all Upstart Goblins at worst. And then they are all summons at worst and then Upstart Goblins at best. So it's kind of crazy because your deck basically becomes like when these are all let free, your deck was just 31 cards, and if you played Bigfoot, it was like an out of stuff. But because Snake and Jackalope are still at 1, I'm not necessarily sure this will have a huge impact. If these went like higher, if this was like that time when these were all at 2, then this would be like pretty sure this would be like a pretty big engine in a lot of decks. But 1 Jackalope, 1 Snake, 3 Nessie. I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference. It might do though. It's cool cards. Curious, like Sending Snow is like pretty crazy, so maybe. And this being like Aqua is like a very niche dark like typing thing, so it's cool. Skullcrobat Joker, free is like cool. It went to 2 last format. It's like a buff for pendulums, but like I said, no Electromite, meh. And then it's okay. It's not like a huge thing, I don't think. Red Indeed free is like fine. It's like a buff to dragons, kind of, but like a lot of time 1 was fine anyway because it's half once per turn now because of the errata. So like I don't know if you maybe like want to play 2 just because it is good to search the second one like off like Blackmail Dragon and stuff like in follow up, but I don't think you'd play 3. So I think like it's just not a huge buff, but it's cool. E-Tail to 3 is something I'm really excited about because I thoroughly enjoy summoning Ogre off this. I thoroughly enjoy summoning off Ogre and then making like Yazi or Needle Fiber or Hag 5X, sorry, which is just something I think is really cool. I really like Teleport as a card. I think it's like a really interesting card design. Especially with how it interacts with Ogre being it like an extender or like a interruption, like when you go first, which I think is just really interesting. So really glad that's a free. Kind of wish I picked. I was literally talking with some friends at locals on Wednesday, and I was like, I need to get a third Orty, and then My friend was like, it's going to go to 3. And I was like, yeah, probably. And I did. And I was like, oh. So, third OA dream, not happening. Probably just going to play around. Regeki went to 3. This is something that I've been thinking, like, I felt was going to happen for a long time. Because, like, we had Dark Hole go to 3, and then Regeki was just still at 1. But we had cards like Lightning Storm and Evenly released, which are just, like, better Regekis, basically. I'm sure some people will play through Regeki, but like it was received like some play at the start of like the format when the Go Second Soul Soul deck, and like people were citing it because people were making their like flaws and Chijao, like not Chijao, but like flaws and stuff in defense to play around Lightning Storm. So this like received some play, but Lightning Storm just sort of ended up being like the more popular card in the end because it was at 3 and just did back row as well, so it was a lot more versatile. Like I think Regeki will probably receive some play at 3, but like not enough to be like a concern, you know what I mean? Like I'd be more bothered if people were main decking for Lightning Storm. So then this is the like most annoying thing possible. This is a card I wanted banned, actually. So instead they went the right opposite way and went put this to 3. This card's broken. There's no way around it. This skill drain is just insane. Like it's archaic, it's an old like card. And you can tell by the card design that it's just like inherently not for like future proofed, basically. But yeah, that's where we're at, I guess. Eldritch is huge buffed. Spoiler alert for tier list. I think this deck is going to be like a lot more popular now. Like a lot more popular. Yeah, overall, I wish this card got banned, but it's at 3 now, so I guess I'll just have to deal with it. I mean, deck more back row removal. Okay, so then we're going to talk about the best decks of the format. This isn't like in a particular order for the most part. It's just sort of like overall evaluation. So like I think PK hugely buffed by Protoss being banned. This deck was gatekept so hard by Protoss, I think. I know that like the jury's still out on whether it was or not, and whether or not it just isn't that good. But like I think with the Brave cards now, like the new Adventurers or whatever they're called engine, I think this deck is like super buffed. It's Scythe, it's still legal, so it's got like that advantage over a lot of the format, where it's just going to Scythe lock you like basically every time for like a couple of interruptions now because of the Brave engine and stuff. And it's a very good deck in general. It's very floaty, it's very grindy. It just really struggled to like Protoss and stuff. But now I think it's probably one of the top contenders, if not like the top contender. Especially like early on. We might see like some changes at some point, but I think it's like definitely a strong start. And then like Golden Eldritch is like a huge one, obviously. Skill drain to 3, right? Like big buff. This deck isn't affected by Scythe like at all. So I think it's like as PK becomes more popular, this deck becomes more popular because it's good against PK, right? So it's like kind of like a I guess like a mirror effect. Whereas like if you know PK becomes good, then Eldritch becomes good. If PK gets worse, Eldritch becomes worse. But like this deck still has free skill drain. So like between like Scythe and skill drain, I feel like Cosmic Cyclone is going to be such a main deck card now, especially with Mystic Mind still legal. It's like so much to need to out that I think like Cosmic is probably going to be a staple in like a lot of main decks for a while. Then we got like so these are the 2 decks I think we'll see the most going forward for a little bit, and then we'll have like these 3 just on the peripheral, like sort of like as like the next most popular decks. Striker obviously is very good. It lost to Fusion Destiny, but it's still got Mine, Anchor, and Shark Cannon, so it's got like a pretty reasonable matchup to like these 2 decks basically. Because it's not really going to get Scythe locked that often, and it's pretty good against Golden Lord because of Shark Cannon. But like the problem with Striker is it's still Striker and it's got to find Ray or engage, right? So it's like still got like those consistency issues. But overall, I think if Striker gets out of the early game, it is very good. And Order got banned. Like Order being banned as well is like a huge buff because it's just not losing. Like same as Invoked, it's not losing to Order like that percentage of time they just draw Order every time. Invoked obviously, like I said, these 2 to 2. Not much of a big deal. Mine's still legal for it, so that's kind of nice. Alice is just like a really good card. This is something I also kind of wanted to hit, just because I'm a bit sick of seeing it and getting like. The other thing about this deck is it can play Winder, and Winder is like gross. So like, it has the advantage going first of being able to just like very consistently put up a Winder. So it might play more Maximuses now to accommodate like losing Nadir Servant. But like Winder is like super super strong against like PK and stuff. So like I think we'll probably see. Well, we have been seeing a lot of this deck, so I think we'll be seeing a lot more of it basically. Sword Soul is still like very good at first. Like I thought Sword Soul was kind of terrible, and that Protoss got banned. Uh, I was like, it still makes Chaofeng, which is cool. So it still has like a lot of like very good synchronics and it's still pretty good going second. So it might like transition to a go second deck maybe a little bit. Um, but obviously Scythe kind of warps that, so then you have to go first. But like Blackout's good against the PK deck, so like maybe it just sticks going first. But the real loss for this deck was Pod Desires to 1. Very much so like I feel like a lot of time you play Sword Soul. If you guys have played Sword Soul, you'll know what I'm talking about. Where it's like I've got the Sword Souls but not the Tenyis. I've got the Tenyis but not the Sword Souls. And then it's like Power Desires was kind of like the bridging of those two engines because you would draw two and you'd hit one generally. So like Desires going to 1 is kind of rough. I don't think I'd want to play Prosperity in this deck because I want the Moji draw and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of, I think Sword Soul will still be like a really popular deck. It's just like I think Progress being hit is actually a pretty big hit though because of it's lost its auto win button against stuff like PK. And like because of that, I feel like it has lost its like control of the format a little bit. I might be wrong, and it might just still be the like most popular deck, but we'll see. And obviously, Tri Brigade variants of all sorts of descriptions. Birds is gone. I think I don't think Birds is going to exist anymore, which is sad. But they'll probably can transit like Pure Tri and like DP Tri will probably transition back to a Rescue Cat, or like maybe even Zoo Cards. I saw that in the YCS. Aaron, can't remember his last name, sorry, was playing the Zoo cards to just have access to Zeus, which I really like. I think that's cool. So maybe it like transitions to more of like a control-y sort of deck again with like Revolt and Zeus, instead of going for like big combos with Cat. The Malfi version is pretty cool as well. Some people might still try and play Birds, but I think with some Morgon it's just not really viable. Then we got Prank Kids, and basically this is like a placeholder for anything with the Adventurer engine. Prank is obviously like Prank Kids and PK is obviously like the two big ones. I think PK is better than Prank Kids with it. But like Pranks is cool. It's a 1-card engine, so like it's gonna receive like a fair bit of play, I think, going forward. Obviously, it's very good in time as well. Like it's a good deck in general. So it's like Meowed still at 1 though is kind of like a bit of a ouch because it does struggle with like getting out of the early game. Like I said, same as Striker. Once it gets out of the early game, it's good. But like generally, the early games where it tends to lose itself. Protoss being banned, I think, is a really big buff to like Dragon decks, like Dragon Link and stuff, and like Destrudo being back as well. Pretty exciting for that. Red and D3, obviously, like I said, kind of a buff, but not really. I think this is like going to be pretty cool. I've got some pretty cool Dragon ideas that I think could be nice now Protoss is banned. But like we'll have to see how the format develops. I'll probably make a deck list or something when I've had like a bit more time to mess around with it. Drytron, even though Eva's banned, I still think is like good. It's not as good though, so I think this would be like floating around on the peripheries with like dragons and like Flunders. This is like these last 3 are basically like decks I think are kind of still good, but like not as good because they were like not very popular last format. They were falling out of popularity last format before this format, so like they haven't really gained anything. In Drytron's case, it lost something. So like Drytron will probably still exist, but it won't be anywhere near as good, I don't think. And then Flunderies, I think, is like almost good, so close, but like because Skill Drain is at 3 and Skill Drain crushes this deck, right? And also like PK have like 3 Fog Blades. I think it's really hard to play this deck until the new Flunder card comes out. That's basically like a better Book of Moon for the deck, basically. Like I think Flunder's in like a weird position where it's like potentially good, but like pretty bad right now because the better decks are just better than it. Like you've also got Striker with like 3 anchors, right? You've got like Moi's Sword Soul still making Chi Zhao. Like Prank Kid's blowing up the board, obviously Fogblade and Skill Drain here, and then like Invoked, fine, but like Invoked's just good in general. So like it's pretty hard for this deck to break into the format, I think, but it's still on the periphery. It's still like a threat. You can still just lose games to like Empen, right? Yeah, so that's pretty much overall my thoughts. But just to quickly close, I wanted to talk about these 4 interesting cards. I think Tiger is like, I think it's going to be like potentially like super crazy. I don't know how yet, but like it just feels like this card is broken as a card. So it's like, you know, it's inherently one of these cards that just does a lot. So like, I think like, we'll see. probably see if this does come to fruition, then this deck or this like engine will be like very very nice. Snow, obviously, something that can fit Snow is generally pretty good, and like make it access to it consistently. We'll have to see if this is like something that takes off though. Like I said, these are all like sort of would be nice or would be cool sort of ideas. Astrograph, I'm not a Pendulum player, but this card is crazy. Like I said, it does a lot. So like there's probably some Pendulum shenanigans with it. I definitely keep an eye on Astrograph and like Pendulum decks in general. It could just come out of nowhere. They normally tend to. And then Scapegoat to 2. It'd be very like I'd be quite wary of like I don't know, just sitting down at locals against like your local Trickstar player or something, and they like normal summon a Candy and add Lycurus and then like set some cards, right? And then one of those cards is Scapegoat and they make an Access Code Talker and kill you. I think that's kind of the thing now. It's kind of like a pretty big buff for decks like that, like older format decks. Be very interesting to see if this does receive play, or if it's just like phased out or like power crept out of the format because of like the speed of Yu-Gi-Oh now. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's quite a long video. I just wanted to get like very much so all my thoughts out about like the list and like early predictions and stuff like that. But yeah, so hopefully some deck profiles and stuff will come up this week or like following week or whatever. I'm pretty busy with life stuff at the moment, so it depends. But like I'll try my best basically. I don't really like doing DB profiles, but it's the most convenient format for this. So but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. And please let me know why Monstergate went to 1. Honestly, I'm just so curious. Cheers, guys.